Welcome back to another exciting conversation here on Effective Living. Every evening this week, I've been challenged to bring about content that I believe will help individuals improve their lives. Effective living is intentional living. And what we're about to talk about is nothing more than being intentional. Today, I'm joined with my good brother and friend, Kino Mccartney. How are you doing, my brother?
Hey, Coach Ricardo, I am doing well. My family is doing well. It's good to see you. It's great to be here on the Effective Living platform this evening, and say hello to all of your wonderful guests in the social media world. Great to be here.
Man, listen, you've been a brother, you've been a friend. It's been a blessing. They say, pay attention to who you bring around you and the people who speak into your life. And I just want to thank you for speaking into my life and helping me to become who I am. You showed up right on time, brother.
Well, well, the feeling is mutual.
Yeah,
The amazing thing is, your parents used to tell you when you were small,
yeah,
birds of a feather flock together,
yeah, yeah.
and that's good and bad.
Come on, right, right.
You have been one of those eagles in my life, all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we don't fool around with chickens.
Come on, right?
You've
Yeah.
been one of those eagles who've been able to soar high, go to a next level. I've just watched your platform just continue to rise to another level. Also, your darling wife Karen and your family. It's just so amazing just to see what's been happening in your life. So I say, my brother, continue doing what you're doing.
Listen, you and Lisa, man, y'all about to have a 21-year-old, as I am about to celebrate 21. You guys have done such a great job. Hats off to you. But talk a little bit about how you feel to have your daughter about to be 21 years old.
Well, listen, it's an amazing feeling. I am so happy and proud of her, Kristen.
Yeah.
Kristen, we call her Kristen Deborah Raquel. She's going to be 21 on the 4th of March. And we're happy into the woman that she's becoming,
Yeah.
or that she has become.
Yeah.
Her faith is growing.
Yeah.
Her academics is soaring. She's ministering on her campus at school
Nice.
through dance. And it's just wonderful that she is being a person of influence and impact. Our son,
Yeah.
who is 16, and he's going to be 17 next month.
Yeah.
He is growing, getting ready to go off to school. And Kristen is graduating in May.
Wow.
And he is going off to school in August. So we're getting ready. Lisa and I are getting ready. This is July, will make us 28 years young in our marriage.
Yes. Yeah.
We're excited because God has taken us through so many different areas of growth in our family life. And we're ready to go to the next level, which is going to be just Lisa and ourselves and developing different things, businesses and ministry. That's what we're looking forward to doing.
Becoming empty nesters. Oh, man.
Hey.
Hey, listen. You've been like, hey, listen, let's crank this party up.
All the way up. All the way up.
Man, listen, I wanted to talk, as I talked about effective living is intentional living. And you've been a man in the insurance industry. There are a lot of people who aren't intentional about this. Let's talk about the importance of health insurance and your view with that particular subject.
Great question. This is my 26th year in the insurance industry. And I came from the banking industry, so I always have a financial background. And a little quick story. The amazing thing is when I was in banking, I learned a lot, but I also saw that a lot of families were impacted because of either health or life. A lot of people lost their homes because of different tragedies that happened, and they were not prepared financially. And that was one of the reasons why I came over to this industry, the financial services and insurance industry, because it gave me an opportunity to sit down with families and help them plan prior to. So going back to your questions, the importance of health insurance, you teach in your effective living platform five areas that you should be effective in: your family, your faith, your fitness, finances, and fun. And the one that you talk about is fitness. And I've listened to you, and one of the things that you talk about as you talk about fitness is your body is the vehicle that you're going to use to help you to accomplish what God wants you to do on this earth.
Yeah.
But before I talk about health insurance, I want to say to people, listen, The greatest health insurance is for you to exercise, eat well, drink lots of water, take time to rest. That's the best insurance. That's God's natural insurance.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the reason why health insurance is so important is because it is estimated that persons would have at least one major health crisis in their life, at least one.
Wow. No.
2.5, 3 years ago, the world was gripped by a pandemic,
Yeah.
which was a health crisis. And it was a health crisis that not only affected 2,000, 3,000 people, it affected the world.
Yeah.
And many people were not prepared because they didn't have the health insurance that they could go to the doctor and they could have participated in getting the best health care. So the reason why I encourage persons to get health insurance is because in the event that you do need to go to the hospital, to the clinic, or to anywhere that you're going to be able to handle it by protecting the risk against anything that could affect you. And one other thing I want to say with reference to health insurance. Health insurance is not only about the emergency that could happen.
Okay.
But also, one of the things I teach is the wellness of your life. So you could use your health insurance and you invest in it. And it's not about just spending, it's investment in your future. Use it for your wellness care. Go and get your dental, your vision checked. Go and get your annual checkup every single year, men and women, and your children. Because when you do that, you are actually adding years onto your life because of what I call preventative care. So that's why health insurance is extremely important to have.
As both you and I are men, and in our culture there in the Bahamas, a lot of times men don't want to talk about taking care of their health and the need to actually have insurance and being able to fund the challenges that could present itself with aging. What's your view there? And let's talk directly a little bit to men. You know, you have the prostate cancer check, you have colonoscopies, you have, you know what I mean? Like you said, vision check, you know, hey, watch this. You want to help your child, but you can't because you won't go ahead and get your eyes checked out, and you're ignoring the fact that you can't see the words on the page, and you're just giving the child an attitude. Talk to some men today, because you are a respected man in our country, and it's important for you to share your opinion on men doing better when it comes to health insurance or just outright taking care of themselves.
Brothers, let me speak to you heart to heart. One of the things that's so important for us to do, remember, we are the ones who take care. We are the priests, providers for our families. And guess what? In most cases, you're the breadwinner. Or you work together with your spouse, or you're taking care of your children. Even if you're a single dad, you are the breadwinner, and you have to take care of your responsibilities. Brothers, let me speak directly to you. Please go and take the time to get your body checked out. Most men that I know, they're going to take care of their car. They get their car serviced, they get their car cleaned, they paint their houses, they go ahead, and if they have an apartment, it's really nice, it's clean, it's everything else. But why take care of every other material thing other than taking care of the most important instrument that you have to live on, which is your body? Colon cancer has taken out so many men, and colon cancer is a slow-moving cancer. Not only colon cancer, but prostate cancer, right? And the great thing is, if you catch it early, it's treatable.
Yeah.
And it's treatable just by getting an annual checkup with your prostate, with your colon, like I said, your vision, getting your heart checked. Another increasing challenge that I see a lot of men are having right now is kidney disease. So many persons are now on dialysis because of the fact that they wouldn't check in their kidneys. And health insurance could allow you all those tests that you partake in your annual blood test. They could do a test that could check all of those different things, so that if anything pops up, brothers, if anything pops up, guess what? You could deal with a small little ant rather than dealing with a monstrous elephant that now resides in your body. So I encourage you, brothers, I'm speaking directly to you, please go and get your medical, get your health insurance, go and get checked up every single year. Don't skip a year. Go and check up the same way you get your car service every 6 months or every 3 months. go and get your body checked up every few months. And let me say something to the women. You know, I'm very intentional and strategic. You see the color I'm wearing today?
Yeah.
I'm wearing pink, right? Pink represents women and breast cancer. Of course, women, I'm saying to you also, go and get yourself checked. Get your mammogram, your pap smear, and the same thing with the men, your vision and everything else. Utilize the services because all insurance is a tool to protect against the risk of anything that might happen. Or, like I said earlier, use it as a preventative tool to protect you and your family.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm talking with Kino Mccartney, and we're diving into the importance of health insurance, life insurance, and be it that we're now on the second day of March. This evening, while you lay your head to rest, I want you to make a commitment tomorrow. Set an appointment. Go ahead and go do some digging. You hadn't even looked at your plan in a while, and ask yourself, do I have adequate insurance? You know, am I prepared for what could come, what could actually happen? And so don't ignore that nudging that the Holy Spirit oftentimes provides. Kino Mccartney, let's talk about the fact that there is a difference between health insurance and life insurance. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about life insurance and why that is important. Some people say, hey, when I'm dead, it's on those who are left behind. That's not on me. What's going on there?
Well, the interesting thing is I already explained a little about health insurance just now.
Yeah.
Life insurance is not for the dead, by the way. It's for the living.
Wow. Yeah.
It's about protecting those who come after you. Once you start earning an income, you need to protect that income.
Yeah.
Life insurance allows you to protect the income, the estate, the assets that you have. In the event that something happens to you, whether you're living or not, that will protect your future. Let me give you some of the benefits of having life insurance. And then I'm going to ask, because one of the questions that people let me ask me, well, how much insurance should I get? Yeah. So I'll answer that in just a minute. But some of the benefits that you have on life insurance is that it continues to provide for your family, even in the event of your death or life. Now, let me explain what I mean. In the event of death, an untimely death, the life insurance will kick in and your family will be able to benefit from that. I have a perfect example. My wife, her father died when she was 5 years old. He was an insurance executive. He was coming home from an event in the Bahamas we call Junkanoo. So 5 o'clock in the morning, he was coming home, or so around early o'clock in the morning. He was tired, he was sleepy, and he got in an accident. And a few days later, he was dead. My wife is 5 years old. Her brother was 3 years old. Her mother only been married a few years. So here it is, this family, and her mother didn't work. So here it is, a family was placed in a crisis, and the only thing that sustained them was because her father had life insurance. Wow. That life insurance was able to pay off their mortgage, was able to send them to finish their school and also their university. That was able to get them and protect them for the years that the breadwinner was not there. Nobody, and they had to prepare for it.
Right.
Yeah. The challenge is so many people are ill prepared. And going back to this, the last 2.5, 3 years with the pandemic show that a lot of people are not prepared. And life insurance can help people be prepared. Now, answering the other question, how much insurance should you get? First, I say to you, go sit down and talk to a qualified financial planner, advisor. Don't just purchase it because you don't know. But the yardstick that could be used is once you started to make an income, you should have a minimum of 10 times your annual income set aside as a minimum. Wow. That's a yard, 10 times of your annual income. Why? Because it offers you security and peace of mind to yourself and your family. That's one thing that you don't have to worry about, right? And in some cases, either in the US and the Bahamas, it also satisfies, this is some of the benefits of having life insurance, it satisfies the bank collateral or security whenever you're going to get a mortgage or a loan, right? So in the event of something happens, it's protected, right? They're not going to come and take your home, take your assets because it's protected. And of course, in the US, in the US, a lot of people use that for tax purposes. They use that to secure their future, to pass on to their families, right? So these are the things in the event of death. Let me say one other thing in terms of life insurance, because some people use, and that's what we call term insurance, which is very inexpensive and it covers a large amount. Some people get what we call whole life insurance, and that's basically for the whole of your life. It builds up values for you, cash values, dividends, and some persons other investments. That's for the persons who want to get benefits back from the life insurance, meaning later down they use that as a retirement fund, a subsidy to your retirement fund. In the Bahamas, we call it national insurance. In the US, I think you have Social Security, right? And those things like that that you use, but it's a supplement that if you get that type of insurance, whether it be variable life, whether it be whole life, it gives you back monies the time that you need it. And of course, there's some tax benefits just for having that type of insurance cover. But I say to you, whatever you do, go and sit down to talk to a qualified financial advisor. Let them look at your budget, look at your investment, look at the plans that you have for yourself. And based on that, they could put together a plan to accommodate your life insurance, your medical insurance, and also your property and your asset insurance for the whole time. And let me just throw this in here. While you're doing that, sit down with a lawyer and talk about your will. Get your will taken care of in terms of security. Sorry, that was a long answer, but it's a long.
That was great. That was great. That was really, really good. And a lot of people don't think will. And there are a lot of people back home, I know this to be true, that you've acquired some stuff. You didn't write a will. As a matter of fact, you didn't even document what all you've acquired because you didn't want nobody to know you had 6 apartments on the other side of the island. And so you're dead and nobody knows because, you were trying to be secretive and you didn't even have a file, a folder that documented the fact that, okay, you got a brother. That's the only person you got. You got a wife that didn't know you had some possessions before and you didn't connected her to the dots of knowing what all you own. There was a man I'm aware of. He had a number of apartments on New Providence, Kino. He had could be easily 25 apartments on the island at different locations. He had 6 here and 8 here and so forth. And when he passed on, even his children didn't know where all his properties were.
Wow.
And so planning and managing your affairs to ensure that, okay, yes, you've done well while you were here. But the question is, did you organize yourself in a way so that those who are left to be able to manage and continue to store that which God has blessed you with? Let's talk about mistakes. Some mistakes commonly made when it comes to dealing with insurance. What have you seen? And clearly, I know that there are a number of mistakes, but I've not been in the industry like you have, clearly. And so I'm interested in hearing what are some of the mistakes, because there are people out there who are making some of those mistakes and they don't need to.
Well, I categorize the people in 5 categories. I call it 0 to 25 is your learning years. You learn 0 to 25. 25 to 55 are your earning years. You're earning. 55 to 75 is your burning years. 75 plus is your yearning years, right? And in those time periods, you have an opportunity to secure yourself and your family. And there's a lot of mistakes that people make. Let me give you one other example. A couple of years ago, they did a study, and they said out of 100 people, the study was done, who started working at the age of 25 and they retired 40 years later. Here are the statistics. One of those person is wealthy. One of them is wealthy. 4 are financially dependent or independent for life. 4. 36 of them have died. 5 are still working out of necessity. And 54, listen to me carefully, 54 are dependent on relatives, friends, and charitable institutions. That's the people who reach over 55 to 75. They're now dependent on others. That's the mistake of not planning ahead. Wow. That's the greatest issue that I find with persons. They make the mistake thinking that they have a lot of time, and time runs up on them quickly, so they don't plan, right? That's the greatest mistake. The next mistake is they believe that they don't need insurance. Okay. Many people believe that they don't need it until something happens. Yeah. And then when something happens, they want someone else to pay for them, whether it's the government or family member.
Yeah.
I said this several years ago. I teach this to my family. Don't allow somebody else's irresponsibility to become your responsibility.
Yeah.
Don't allow somebody's irresponsibility of them not planning and preparing to become your responsibility and you to feel guilty.
Yeah.
All of us should be mature and adult to understand that you have to plan and prepare. Another mistake that people make is they spend too much on insurance. Can you believe that? They spend too much.
Yeah.
And that's because they don't sit down and have a conversation with a financial planner, a financial advisor, or an insurance agent. They just think, oh, I'm just going to buy a lot. No, sit down, make sure that it fits within your budget so that you're not overspending, right? And then, of course, the flip side is that they spend too little. Oh, I don't want anybody to benefit from this, so I'm not going to purchase a lot. I'm just going to get enough just to cover this. No. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you sit down, plan it out, put it on your goal sheet for the year so that you'll be able to ensure that you are properly balanced in your life and properly budgeted out. One last, there's so many mistakes I've seen people. Another mistake that I'm just gonna leave it in. I want you to really think about this one. Another mistake that people make with reference to insurance, health and life insurance is that same thing when I said earlier, they do not take care of their bodies, right? So they have the ability, but they don't take the time to stop, rest. They don't take the time to check out themselves health-wise. They don't take advantage of the services that are there. And then when something happens, you're dealing with a major crisis. I say to you, make sure, stop. Don't make the mistake that, oh, everything is great and you don't prepare for the future. So make sure, take the time, rest, plan, prepare, take care of your health, take care of your body, take care of your family. But like they tell you on the plane, before you take care of anybody else, take the mask, put it on you. That's the only way you could take care of others is you put the mask on you first, and then you're able to take care of others. Okay?
Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's talk about the reality that there are some people out there who says, man, I just outright can't afford insurance. What do you say to that group of people who won't even entertain the person who's suggesting that you need to get insurance? They're like, man, listen, my car note, my mortgage, I already got this child is costing me, and I got to get my nails done, got to get my hair done. I can't afford insurance. What's your view there? Where there is a lot of people, Kino Mccartney, there are a lot of people who fall in that category. If you're watching us tonight and you have heard somebody say those words before, put it in the comment. I can't afford insurance. Listen to the answer from the expert, from the professional in this industry. What do you say to them, sir?
My answer is that, and over 26 years, I've heard a lot of that.
Yeah.
My answer to you, my quick answer to you is you cannot not afford to get insurance.
Oh.
You cannot not, right?
Yeah.
Because the moment you decide not to do it, you're going to put yourself in a bigger hole of debt, regret, and poor decisions. And those decisions, they don't only affect you. Listen to me carefully. A bad decision could affect several generations down the line. Because debt doesn't die when you die. It goes on to your generations, right? And that bad decision will affect you. So I say to you, stop, have a conversation with someone who's qualified, sit down, plan it out, prepare yourself, and guess what? You could turn your situation around in a few months. It's interesting when the calculations were done with insurance, people don't understand the value of money and insurance. It actually takes 4 cents, listen to me carefully, 4 cents of premium to create $1 of insurance.
Wow.
It takes 4 cents of premium, pennies, to create $1 of insurance. You can't get that value nowhere else.
Wow.
So I say to persons, because I'm going to use the US market as an example. I see people spending $23, $40 on $100,000 or $500,000 worth of life insurance. There's no way in the world, if you put aside $20 or $40, there's no way in the world you'll be able to accumulate that amount of money in your lifetime.
Wow. Wow.
So the value that you're going to get from that. I'm not going to call it an investment. That value you're going to get from that protection tool or that protection vehicle will far outweigh the fact that, oh, I can't afford it. Yes, you can. And you said it earlier in those couple of things that you said: your hair done, your nails done, your car clean,
Yeah.
the extra fast food. I'm not going to call any names. The extra fast food, the extra coffee. You
Yeah.
understand? That coffee that you spend at a particular company,
Yeah.
guess what? You could take that coffee money, put
Yeah.
it aside, and you'll be able to afford the life insurance, or I call it the protection tool against all the risk for your family.
What do you say to that individual who's afraid to talk about any form of health issues? I don't know. I don't know, but hey, man, are you prepared for retirement? Are you prepared for an emergency or crisis in regards to your health or your spouse or your? But don't talk about that. Don't call that on me. The devil, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. But it's a conversation that needs to be had. But a lot of people aren't wanting to talk about it. What's your view there?
My view is very simple. My brother, my sister, my client, prospective client, the reality is reality happens.
Yeah.
And whether you have the conversation or not, the fact is things can happen. It's better to be prepared rather than not be prepared and something happens.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, it's going to be worse. You're going to be in a bigger and a deeper hole because you were not prepared to have the conversation, right? That conversation is a conversation. It's better to have it earlier than later.
Yeah.
It's better to have it now than later.
Yeah.
And it's also better to have it than not to have it. So I say the person's, the fact is, if you know, you don't want to talk about death, but every other week you're going to a funeral.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
One of the days, one day,
Yeah.
you know, because whenever I go to a funeral, the first question is the two questions that come at a funeral: where is the burial, or where's the graveyard, and where's the reception afterwards?
Yep. Yep.
They're the two questions.
Wow.
So one day you won't be able to answer that question because someone else is going to be asking, because you might probably be in the urn or the box.
Wow. Wow.
So it's best to have that conversation and have it with someone you could trust.
Yeah.
Of course, there are different persons that are around, there are different financial planners that are around. Have it with someone you can trust. Have it with your pastor. Have it with, like I said, a financial planner, someone who's qualified, who's going to advise you, and also confidential. Let me just say that. Who's confidential, who's not going to have your business all over the place, but have the conversation.
Man, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this evening we're sitting down talking about the importance of life and health insurance. I have my good friend and brother, Kino Mccartney, joining us and providing some really good information. Don't ignore this. As a matter of fact, do me a favor. Tag somebody. Tag somebody that you know they need to have the conversation about health insurance. They need to have the conversation about life insurance. They need to have the conversation as to, are you prepared to deal with some of life's unpredictable challenges that oftentimes show themselves up unexpectedly? Kino Mccartney, before we end our talk, I'm interested in learning or knowing, what have you enjoyed most about your career in that of being an insurance man? And you work for a great company. And I'm interested in hearing, what do you like most about your company as you embark on, watch this, embracing all that this year is going to bring for you and your beautiful wife and the company that you're with. Tell us a little bit about what you like best about your work and what you like best about where you work.
Well, let me start with the end point that you made. This year is a beautiful year. God is just blessing. Even in the midst of the challenges, He's still blessing. So we're excited to what's going to be happening in not only our lives, but your life and your viewers' lives. Always expect that God is going to do something great in your life, because He wants, as a father, to do great things. Like I said, it's about 26 years that I've been working with our company now, and 26, 27, because we've been married going 28 years. So I started working at this company just a year after we got married. So that's how I gauge it. I want to send a shout out to my darling wife, Lisa, and the children, Kristen and Daniel. My wonderful team, the Golden Eagles. I want to send a shout out to them. I've had the opportunity and the privilege of leading them as their their key manager, and Sandra Walks, my assistant manager, sent a shout out to her. And I also want to say the best thing that I've enjoyed is that the company that I've been working with has been very gracious. We've been able to travel the world. We've been able to invest in the lives of people. One of the things I love as being a leader is to be an impactor, an influencer. So I get to invest in the lives of people and see managers and agents and clients come from a position, like we said, out of debt and come to a point where they are free, they could retire financially. So one of the things I love about this career and what I do is to influence, impact people, and to see the lives of people change for the better. I mean, to see children that I saw were born 20 plus years ago, now they're going off to college. And because their parents made decisions 20 years ago, 15 years ago, they now could say to their child, you could go to college because we invested in this product that Mr. McCartney talked about. I see families get their homes because they saved and they invested. And now they're getting their homes because of the decisions. And of course, you know, on my other time and my other life, I'm a minister.
Yeah.
So we not only talk about the blessed assurance, we also talk about the life insurance, and both of them are security tools for the future. So I enjoy seeing people grow, impacting them, influencing them, and of course, just being a servant. I love to serve and to see the best in people. So out to my Christ Community Church family, how y'all doing? My Rotary family, how y'all doing? Just is amazing. Just love to do what I do.
Yes.
Love being friends with persons like you, Coach
Yeah.
Ricardo, and to your darling wife, Karen.
Man, listen, and it looks good on you. All that you do looks good on you. You walk into the room and the energy that you present in the space where you're at represents the kingdom. And so thank you for all that you do and all that you bring to every environment that you're in. Hey, in closing, there's somebody who's going to procrastinate. There's somebody who's going to put off again after they've been nudged in their spirit by something that was said. Tell them again. In closing, now you're saying the challenge. Don't put off what you can manage today that will protect you tomorrow. Talk to that person who's watching and they've been putting off. What do you say to them?
Very simple as a very quick sentence, and it's this: everyone inherits something. Everyone, good and bad. When it's time for your family, your children, and your legacy to move on, do not let them inherit your debt. Let them inherit uh, the benefits. Don't let them inherit uh, liabilities. Let them inherit your assets. That's what persons who understand wealth that they do. Everyone inherits, everyone, good and bad. But when your legacy is done, let people talk about the greatness of this man or this woman, that they left assets of goal setting, they left assets of integrity, they left assets of great character, but they also left assets of material things like investments, like homes and cars and real estate. Don't let them curse your legacy. Let people bless God and bless God because of the parents, the grandparents, and the great grandparents that you would have been to them for generations yet unborn. Here's what the Bible says: a good man leaves an inheritance. Remember, I said inheritance for his children's children, children. Be a good man. Leave an inheritance that will be blessed because of what you've done for God.
So good. Ladies and gentlemen, well, there you have it. Kino Mccartney joined us tonight while we talked about something that needed to be talked about. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do. Make a commitment to put in the work to make sure that you can look back and say, you know what, I listened and I'm benefiting from the fact that I chose to do what I've learned by having heard something that was triggered by a talk like tonight. And so, Kino Mccartney, is always a joy, man. This has been overdue. I've enjoyed this. This is the way. I'm so glad I've been able to do this in the first quarter of the year, because I just feel like there are some people who they don't need to go ahead and do what everybody else is doing in that of a crisis. being presented to themselves because they didn't prepare themselves or had the conversation about things they need to talk about. So thank you, sir. I know you're a busy man, but go ahead, have a good night. Tell Miss Lisa I said hello, and God bless you. Until next time, Kino Mccartney, Effective Living loves you, man.
God bless you, brother.
God
Have a
bless you.
good night.
Yes, sir.